I started watching videos and rehearsing, practicing with my mirror, practicing. I would formulate scripts myself or revoice something that someone has already done and then compare it until I feel it's perfect enough. And so that was how I entered into the whole voiceover thing. So yeah, but the most important thing to get from this is that I love food. I love food. Like food and I have this unbreakable bond that.
Hi, and welcome to the Everything Voiceovers podcast. I'm T-Code, an African voiceover talent from Nigeria, and this is my podcast where I take on voiceover topics from an African perspective. My guest on this episode is the winner of the Voiceover Artist of the Year award at the 2022 APVA Awards, Stephanie Anene, also known as Voice of Steph, and she lets me into her life and journey as a voiceover artist in this Tell It All interview. Sit back and enjoy this episode. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Everything Voiceovers podcast. I'm T-Code, of course, and this time around I am recording this episode of the podcast for two different reasons. One is to talk about the just concluded APVA Awards, and the other one is to interview one of the winners of the APVA Awards. Now, I just had to change the format of the podcast because it's a unique episode, I must say, being the one after the just concluded APVA award. Now, in case you're hearing the word APVA for the first time, there's actually an episode of this podcast about a few weeks ago where we discussed, or I interviewed the founder of the association, APVA. Now, APVA means the African Association of Podcasters and Voice Actors. I am an executive member of APVA. I'm actually the creative partner at APVA. And interestingly, we held an award event, and the event was the African Podcast and Voice Actors Awards. And it was just a big deal. I mean, we'd been working tirelessly on this, and this is why I had to put this in the podcast today, because it means so much to me. It means so much to every member of APVA. We put in the work day in, day out. And I don't really think I am saying it the way I would love to have, explained all of this. I just think that I would satisfy my conscience to just say a thing or two about the process to the award. And this is not even going as interesting as I planned, because I'm thinking about a lot of things. But then, okay, ladies and gentlemen, we had the first of its kind award for podcasters and voice actors in Africa. And we actually did the best we could. I just wanted to say I'm excited. I'm super excited about this award. And it came out well. Thank you all. And we look forward to another one. Now that I'm done doing all of this chit chat about my about the APVA Awards, let's get down to business. Today, I have one of the APVA Award winners with me. She's not just an APVA award-winning voiceover artist, but the first ever winner of the Voiceover Artist of the Year category. I call her a voiceover celebrity, as she is currently one of the most popular female voiceover talents in the country. Now, a lot of you may know her as Voice of Steph, the lady that does multiple accents on one voiceover. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the ever eloquent and beautiful Stephanie Anene. I hope I got that correctly. Stephanie, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to have you on the podcast today. How are you doing?
Thank you so much. I'm excellent. Thanks. And yourself?
I'm great. It's nice to hear your voice. Sometimes you talk and one cannot. Anyways, let me not flatter you too much. You have an amazing voice,
Thank you so much. And you have your voice is as handsome as your face.
I feel flattered. Okay. So, before we get into all of the drama and talking about you and award ceremonies, something I like to do, for me, it's like a culture on the podcast where I want to know the meaning of your name and how it's properly pronounced. so that
Okay.
people can get the pronunciation correctly. So, what is the meaning of the name Stephanie Anene, if I got that correctly?
Okay, so it's actually pronounced as Anene. Anene.
Anene. Ah, okay.
Yes, Anene. Okay, so Stephanie has two meanings. It means
Mm,
crowned in victory and crown of victory.
mm,
So I personally prefer crown of victory. It's more relatable than
mm,
Anene, more like well in Igbo, Inenihe, like if you're looking at something, they will tell you like Kedihi nene, like what are you looking at? So Anene is like looking, like let's keep looking or something like that. I don't
mhm.
really know how to put it, but Isha has something to do with looking at something. So yeah.
Mm, interesting. So the crown of victory, or we could say looking at the crown of victory, whichever we want to spin that around.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of victory, congratulations on your win as the Voiceover Artist of the Year. I mean, it's a huge one, a big deal.
Indeed. Thank you so much. It really means a lot to me. Honestly, it does. Um, I remember how when I was watching with a friend of mine, and when it
Mm,
got to the category that I was nominated under, I remember how I was telling her like, see, there are other amazing voiceover artists that I was nominated alongside, and I was like,
mhm.
anybody could win this because personally when you compared to other people that were nominated, some people that were nominated, I was nominated alongside. These people have been in the voiceover industry for years. Like
Mm,
they've been there. There are certain people that I look up to or admire their work, and I just found myself nominated alongside them. And I just started my voiceover journey,
yeah, yeah.
roughly 2019, 2020-ish. So
Mm,
being nominated, first of all was mind blowing. I
mm,
was I was literally so excited because it means a lot to be recognized for something that you have passion for, something that you do and you love doing. And
mm.
so yeah, let me not say too much. I tend to get excited.
Wow, great.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you too. But before we even get into all of the award feelings,
Okay.
people are eager to really know who Voice of Steph is. I know a lot of people know you. I mean, I would dare to say that you're one of the most popular Nigerian female voice actors that we have right now. Your
Oh,
Instagram numbers are crazy compared to a lot of us that do voiceovers, because voice acting is still something that is coming up in Nigeria and even in Africa, right? And even globally,
yeah.
we're just it's one of those talents that it's majorly behind the curtains, because even we don't
Yeah.
show our faces most times, but the trend
Yeah.
is changing with time, and you're one of those spearheading that movement where we're putting ourselves out there more. All right,
Yeah.
so let's take away that glitz and glam, and let's talk about Stephanie Anene as a person, as an individual. Tell us a bit about your background growing up in Nigeria, and what um, your life has been like before this whole, celebrity kind of lifestyle.
Okay, this is going to be quite an interesting one. Well, growing up, wasn't really, I didn't have the best memories as a child growing up because um, we were kind of like at the bottom of the food chain. It's a bottom of the food chain kind of story.
Mm,
And I didn't really have um I don't know how to put it. I want to pick the right words. I didn't have or enjoy certain privileges that at least
mm,
I know that some of my friends or colleagues or people my age enjoyed. Growing
mm,
up was very um It wasn't so nice. It wasn't so
Yeah.
nice. There's a lot of story here and there,
Mm-hmm.
family stuff and education. Um, Coming to schooling, I graduated from secondary school in the year 2016. And because of financial, setbacks and a lot of that, I stayed home for like almost 3 years. I stayed home for
Oh.
3 years. I couldn't go to school. Yes. So all
Oh.
my classmates then in secondary school, early years ahead of me. And
Oh.
in secondary school, I'd always been the perfect student, in quotes. I was always good at everything. So I started school. I started my JSS one, my junior secondary school one. I started very late because my parents couldn't gather enough money to pay for the school fees for me to start early. So I started second term, and like, let's just say 4 weeks later, they were already preparing for examinations. So it was
Wow.
crazy. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the teachers really doubted. We were not sure she'll be able to cope. She's already behind and everything. But let me brag a little. I I collected notebooks, I read. Long story short, I took second position just like that. And I'm like, y'all don't even know. I'm about to blow your minds away.
Oh my.
So I think I held on to the second position till I graduated from secondary school till SS3 or
Wow.
so. And I was given I was always the prefect for something in secondary school. And JSS3, I held on to class prefect till I graduated from secondary school because nobody else was willing to take it, the
Mm.
responsibilities and everything. JSS2, I'm like the holy wedge in school. More like I always talk about Christ. I always talk about Bible. I'm always preaching.
Oh.
So they always call
Oh
me
yeah.
holy wedge. Yeah.
Right.
So because of that, I was given chapel prefect in JSS2.
Mm.
And SS3, I was given library prefect. SS1, I was given library and social prefect. Then SS2, second term, I became the school prefect till I left the school. So that was basically my secondary school life. Then I
Mhm.
stayed home for almost 2, 3 years, trying my best to get into school, but the finances were not just there. So the question is, what was I doing at home all this while? There's a
Yeah.
lot of story here and there. Like I said earlier, it's not a pretty story. Probably
Mm-hmm.
a story for another day. But finally,
Mm.
I came to Lagos in late 2018. I came to Lagos late 2018.
Oh. Hold on a second. So
And
you weren't living in Lagos all of the time? I mean, all the
no,
story.
no, no, no. I was in Enugu throughout. Like I literally grew up in Enugu. Yes. So
Wow.
I completed my primary school and secondary school in Enugu State. Then came to Lagos in 2018, like June, July 2018.
Hmm.
So before then, before I came to Lagos, I'd already I think that was when I started using Instagram. So you know, I didn't even know that, oh, there's something about my voice. There
Hmm.
was even such a thing as voiceovers then, but I just
Hmm.
had this interest for, I was a talkative kind of, like, I like talking. So, and if you don't
Okay.
stop me, I tend to just go on and switch to different personalities and all of that. So I watched
Hmm.
a lot of cartoons and
Hmm.
British movies. So that's why I picked up the accents. I
Hmm.
just have this thing that if I watch a particular person talking in a particular accent,
Hmm.
if I watch it long enough, I can pick up that accent. All I have to do is just
Hmm.
repeat. So that
Oh.
started. So while in Enugu, I was just going on Instagram, and then I remember I used to do words you might be pronouncing incorrectly and differences between pronunciation of British and American accents. I
Hmm.
remember then when I do these videos, and for example, trying to teach people how to pronounce the letter O in the British
Hmm.
accent. So I'd give examples like, in the British accent, you pronounce it as home. go, no. And it was crazy because I just enjoyed doing it. But then the comments were very discouraging. People were like, who be this one? They were like, who be this one? Who accent up? This, it was very discouraging.
Yeah.
And another fact about me, people don't know, is I used to be a ballet dancer, self-taught ballet dancer. Yeah.
Wow.
So I could do the splits. Yeah. I could do the splits, the cartwheel and everything. So came to Lagos and then got into school, National Open University. I should be rounding up by next year. I'm currently in my 300 level, second semester. If it's easy, go and do it.
I feel you.
So I when I was in secondary school, as every other teenager, I was like, oh, I want to be a doctor when I grow up. I want to save lives. Until I jammed by biology and chemistry, I said this is not my calling. So I left science and I moved into arts. And then I had two options: study mass communication or theater arts, because I love acting, and it's something I'm going to delve into. Hopefully very soon. Not hopefully, very soon I will. So both my parents studied mass communication. Fun fact. Yeah, so they are already in the industry. They are both voiceover artists. They are both they were both broadcasters as well. So that thing is there. Yeah. So another fun fact about Stephanie is my Igbo. It is not Igbo at all, because my parents didn't raise us up speaking to us like in Igbo language. They only spoke Igbo to us when they want to shout at us or reprimand us, like So it was always clean English and with correct pronunciation. So now that I'm grown up, to speak the Igbo, there's a little phoneme inside it somewhere. So I just avoid it. Yes, I just avoid, but I hear Igbo like very well. It's just speaking it, it's not original, it's been tampered with. So yeah. I'm currently studying mass communication in National Open University. And it's amazing because it's something I'm already doing. And I'm also a TV presenter as well, self-taught. I think everything is just self-taught. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm also a TV presenter. In 2016, a month after I left, I graduated from secondary school. I participated in the MTV-based VJ search and emerged a top 10 national finalist. So that was actually the moment where I realized that, wait, so there could be something about my voice that I haven't discovered yet, because the reason I went for that audition, when I tell the story, it's very funny. The reason I went for that MTV-based audition was because my friend bribed me with egusi soup and eba. She said, if you go, I'll give you egusi soup and eba. Yeah. So I love food. I am a foodie, even though it doesn't look like that, but I am a foodie. And then, like I said, my childhood wasn't so pretty. So sometimes we'll stay without eating. So when she bribed me with soup and eba, I had no choice, So I went for it, and I just thought I was doing it for fun. I had no idea what I went there to do. I saw people that I see on TV, people I hear on radio. I was like, what am I doing here? Wow. But, it just turned out to be that I emerged a top 10 national finalist. So then I tried to go for other online competitions about talking. So I participated in the CTFM. Was it CTFM? OAP, female OAP search or something like that. And I emerged the top 10 finalist as well. Like, oh, wow. Okay. So the pointers started coming to me. Like I started putting one and two together. I said, okay, there could be something about my voice. So then I started watching YouTube videos, and I then discovered there is such a thing as voiceovers. So when I was still a teenager, when I was like 17, 18, 19, I used to do voiceovers for my church. And then some individuals, like some friends, will say, oh, Steph, can you just read this thing out? I want to put it over this video. And sometimes they'll just pat you on the back and say, thank you, God bless you. you know.
Hmm.
And I was just excited because I just like talking, to use my accent and everything. So it
Hmm.
was then I realized that there is indeed such a thing as voiceover. And then I started watching videos and rehearsing, practicing with my mirror, practicing. I would formulate scripts myself or
Hmm.
revoice something that someone has already done and then compare it until I feel it's perfect enough. And
Hmm.
yeah, so that was how I entered into the whole voiceover thing. So yeah, but the most important thing to get from this is that I
Hmm.
love food. I love food. Like food and I have this unbreakable bond that we just can't do without each other. Do you understand? And it's never enough. Yeah. So, and I love dogs. I love dogs so much. If you
Oh,
check my
really?
Instagram, yeah, if you ever
Hmm.
have the opportunity to hold my phone and go through my Instagram explore, two things you'd see: dogs, puppies, food, 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 dogs, puppies, food, food, food. Yeah, you can just tell that this person loves dogs.
Okay, so of all the things that you mentioned, being a ballet dancer, self-taught, is one that I didn't know before. The fact that your parents were or are broadcast journalists, or
Yeah.
yeah, it's something I didn't know before. What else? Now the dog part is something I'm just hearing about because I see a lot of the food things, so I can attest to that. Yeah. I mean, this is a very interesting conversation. Knowing that it's also, I dare to say that you're one of the youngest awardees in the event, and how you
Oh,
emerged, because your story. Let's talk about you. You've told us about how you discovered voiceovers. Let's talk
yeah.
about how you pitched your tent as a voice actor. You know,
Okay.
there was certainly a point where people did not care about what you did in terms of, oh, like you said, when you were doing the accent thing on Instagram, people would just, oh, who's this person and who accent help? But with
Yeah.
time, you started gaining their trusts, their interests, and now your numbers are crazy on the internet. You've gone viral with a couple of videos. So, how did you gain that confidence? And if I say mastery of honing your skill as a voice actor, talk to
Okay.
us about that. Yeah.
Okay. So, first thing, and something I always like to tell people, which is nothing but the truth, is the voiceover thing I do, right? I always tell people I can name at least one or two people, female voiceover artists, that I can tell you when it comes to voice texture, theirs is probably better than mine. If I'm going to use certain
Metro.
measurements to measure it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, but then I'm a person that I believe in two things. I believe in one is grace. The second thing
Mm,
I believe in is the power of spoken words. So I didn't
mm,
just get here today. When we were much younger, I have two brothers. My elder brother, Prince. I mean, I'm the second child, first daughter, and then my younger brother, Jeffrey. So there's something my mom did for us then, when we were younger. She'd buy like cardboard sheets, right? And then write out confirmations, affirmations, confessions, and it's all over our walls. So when you wake up in the morning, that's the first thing you see. So, for
mm,
example, you wake up in the morning, you see, I'm a success, the world is my stage, men and women of global influence are gravitating to, and you're not allowed to leave the room until you say those things. So, we
mm,
were already kind of like fond of that. We grew up with that mentality of speaking words, even if you're not seeing it now, it's going to wait for you in the future. And I had this
mm,
diary when I was in secondary school. I wrote down my personal affirmations, and
mm,
this was after the MTV based thing. When I started discovering that my voice is actually nice, maybe there's something about my voice. So I remember sometimes I'll lock myself in the kitchen and I just start confessing words. Father, I thank you for my voice is raking in millions of naira. My voice is irresistible. My voice is bringing in money. I'm influencing millions all over the world because of my voice. I am voicing for commercials. I am voicing for TV. I did this like almost every day when I was a teenager. And even though it didn't look realistic then, because we didn't have much then, sometimes we'd like spend like a whole day without eating and stuff like that. But that was what I already grew up with. So I just held on to that. And now, being where I am, it's not enough to know that you have a gift and then praying and confessing, sowing seeds and everything. There is a part that you need to work on as well. And that is improving your craft. That is developing the gift that you have to be world standard. I've always had this global mindset. I don't think small, right? Although we may start small, but my mindset is always global. So what I did, I went on YouTube. I searched for people like Bill Dewey's, some other voice actors. When I watch cartoons, what I ask myself is, who are the people that are voicing these characters? So when a character says, "Oh, hi, I'm really happy," I just find myself reducing the volume and then saying it to myself like, "Oh, hi, I'm really happy," and the next person says, "You're not gonna talk to me like that." And then I reduce it. I'm like, if they can do it, I always have that mindset, like, if they can do it, then why can't I do it, right? So that's how I started with that's where the voice acting came in. It was through cartoons and that curiosity, and that dare. I kind of like dared myself. If these people could do it, if there's someone voicing this thing, why can't I be the one voicing it? So there was a lot of repetitions and recordings in my phone of me trying to imitate or sound like a particular character, on TV. So that was how I started with the voice acting thing. And then I searched. I couldn't really find something I can hold on to, like voice acting in Nigeria. I didn't see a lot of that. So it was always foreigners, those in the US and stuff. So I held on to what I could hold on to. And naturally, I am a very animated person. I have a very animated personality. In fact, if you want to know if I'm not at home, the whole place will be quiet. But once I'm home, I'm home, because I tend to get very excited and I could just switch up like that. So I said, "Oh, wait, I think I'm a funny person." And I there's a lot that goes on in my head. Like, we can just be having a conversation. "Oh, Steph, what if you pick up this apple and throw it, and then it hits an old lady on her head?" And as you're talking, I am imagining it in my head. And then I want to bring that imagination to life. So I'm like, why can't I be the old lady? So that is where the different accents and character voices that I've been rehearsing, like through cartoons, comes in. So I'm like, okay, let me act as someone that is holding an apple. So if you go through I actually have 2 Instagram handles. My personal page is Steph_unique. So that was my main Instagram account before I opened Voice of Steph. As a matter of fact, I opened Voice of Steph April last year. So Steph_unique was where I started, but I just turned it to my personal page. So then you see a lot of skits. I did a lot of skits with my voice. I'd act like an old guy. I'd act like a man. I'd act like a young lady from America, stuff like that. So that was where people started noticing, this girl is good. They just, now start commenting, "Keep it up, dear. Don't stop, improve." Those comments really helped me. And I decided to, okay, maybe this is something. So I did more of that. I improved on the accent and everything. That was how my voice acting thing started. For the voiceover part, I think my very first official voiceover gig that I got was for Access Bank. I still remember how I voiced that. And for British American Tobacco, that was the major one I got. And I was super excited. I was like, oh my gosh, I have blown. Like, bro, I have blown. Y'all gonna need my signature pretty soon, bro. So I started out. I did the Access, because these are people that have been following me. They've been watching. Okay. I always tell people, my uncle always tells me something. He says, when you have an opportunity to do something, do it as though it is your last time. So put your best into it. And people are always watching. The thing is, you don't know who is watching you. So there are the people that got the Access Bank voiceover gig to me, obviously these are people that have been watching low key, to see what this girl is really up to, what can she bring. So when I started doing little voiceover things, like I would just form a script and then voice it and put it on my Instagram handle. So these people were watching, obviously, and they'll probably be like, oh, she has potentials. We like her voice. Okay. And then they messaged me and then sent me like a sample script. I voiced it and they were like, okay, we like this. Come and voice this. Let me be honest with you. I had no idea what I was doing because this is the first time. I only did it then when I was a teenager, as for church announcements, and it wasn't something serious. And I was offered money. I'm like, oh my gosh, you mean I can actually get money from this stuff? So when I did it, they were like, wow, this is perfect. And funny enough, if I go back to that particular voiceover, I'm like, oh, did I really voice this? Because my voice is so much better. It's so much better.
I feel you.
But then, yeah.
I mean, I was just surprised that was your first ever gig. You didn't have to stress to look for clients. They actually came into your DM. At the time, you had not even started to see yourself as a professional voice actor that does that for a living. So they came into your DM. I mean, both the British and the British Tobacco
British American Tobacco,
and the Access Bank clients.
Yeah.
Wow. That's some record. Yeah. It's quite an inspiring journey, I must say. And something you said was that the comments that you were getting on your videos on Instagram really gave you that encouragement that you needed to continue. How did you manage to cope with the backlashes as well? Now, I think, okay, I'll ask the question this way because, of course, not everybody's going to say they love what you were doing at the time. But because you were doing something a lot of people will call or describe as classist, if you get what I mean, in Nigeria, if you're doing accent, people tend to look at you like, who be this one? Like, what's this whole accent thing about? But you stayed and kept doing it. How have you been able to deal with the impression that comes with you doing accent? To give a bit of context to this, I'm a Nigerian voice actor as well. And funny thing is, we have some similar stories in terms of cartoons and doing accents and impressions and all. But I stylishly dropped the accent thing as time went on for different reasons. My story is a quite different one. But the point is, maturing in the voiceover industry, I came to realize that there is the need for us to also recognize our own indigenous accents. Yes, and give it the due respect that it deserves, right? Because if we all go Western in our accents, then we're losing the originality that a Nigerian voice actor or a Yoruba or an Igbo, all of those local languages come with the accents in English. So, and this is something that locally voice actors are kind of praising, that we need to come back home, right? Even though we're doing a lot of so how have you been able to stay within that circle of, you do accents and you're proudly doing it regardless of what anybody thinks?
Okay. Well, the thing is, the accent is just kind of like a bonus, and honestly, I'll be honest, it gives me some sort of edge, because I have dealt with a lot of clients. I do deal with foreign clients. You'd see people from the UK sending DMs and saying, "Oh, Steph, I need this in a British accent," or someone in the US. "Oh, Steph, we need this in American accent," and a couple of Nigerian clients as well requesting for voiceovers in a particular accent, and they ask, "Oh, Steph, can you nail this?" And I do it, and then trust me, they pay for it. So I have an edge. That gives me an edge personally. Then the thing is, the accent thing, It's not like all my voiceovers have accents in it. So this is the thing. When I get a client, I usually ask when we're done with the whole talks and we've come to an agreement. The last question I usually ask, which is very important to me, I ask them, what accent would you like me to voice this in? I need to know who your target audience is. So for a client whose target audience is someone or people in Nigeria, the clients will tell you, oh, we want this voiced in a Nigerian accent. So I have that. It gives me an edge because I offer like a variety of options a client can pick from. Now, a particular client can tell you, oh, Steph, I need this in a Nigerian accent. And I would deliver it in a Nigerian accent. The fact that I can switch accents or I have the ability or gift to do that doesn't take away the Nigerian in me. If you want it in a Nigerian accent, I can switch and I can give it to you like in a Nigerian accent. Now, this same client who requested for a voiceover in Nigerian accent, tomorrow comes and say, oh, Steph, I need this voice in British accent. So it helps me retain clients because they don't need to go. They don't need to go about searching for different, okay, we use this voiceover VOA for American accent. They'll go to a different person for British. They go to a different person for Pidgin. I just told myself, if I'm able to do American and British accent, why can't I do my Pidgin? Why can't I do Pidgin? I'm a Nigerian. Why can't I do Nigerian accent? So what I do is I work on all these accents. And I think, quite frankly, from all the accents that I'm able to do, the American, personally for me, is the most challenging accent, although it is contrary to popular belief because most people think that the British accent is more complicated than the American, right? But this gives me an edge. It will be a problem, however, if all I can do or all my voiceovers have an accent in it. That would be a problem, you see. But when you check my page, you see a variety. I intentionally post like different ones. I don't post all the works I do, but I intentionally post ones that I've done with different accents. In fact, there was even one that I did on Instagram. It was just an impromptu video. So I had a particular script for a brand and I asked like those watching, I'm going to voice this in 2 different accents. Tell me which accent you prefer. So I voiced the first one using an American accent and I voiced the second one using a Nigerian accent. So there was a mixed reaction in the comment section. I remember that particular video had like 200 comments because different people were, no, this is more Nigerian. I can relate to this one because it's Nigerian. Different people were like, oh, the American sounds nice. So that was just to let people know that as a voiceover artist, I have that ability to deliver a particular script to any client in any accent of their choice. You see, so that gives me an edge. Doesn't take away the fact that I am a Nigerian and I can still talk to you as a Nigerian if you want me to. You see.
Oh my, that's an interesting perspective to play. You have the edge.
Hey guys, so here's a quick commercial. Well, if you're in Nigeria and you're probably just starting voiceovers or wanting to get into voiceovers or you're already doing voiceovers, but you need the right quality audio equipment, mics, monitors, headphones, audio interfaces, and so on, Coded Voiceovers is the plug for you. We consult, sell, and distribute quality audio across Nigeria at the best prices. If you want to make a purchase or find out more, send a mail to codedvoiceovers@gmail.com or a WhatsApp message to +234 906 087 8154 +234 906 087 8154 or just send a DM to us on Instagram at Coded Voiceovers. And the best part is, wherever you are in Nigeria, you'll get your gears delivered to you in less than a week. Alright, so let's get back to the podcast.
Now, you were talking about clients. You were talking about the process where you talk to them, you do all of the bargain, and then you ask that question about accent. I am interested in understanding what your client relationship and bargain or negotiation process is like. Now, because I'm also in the job, I know for a fact that negotiations are like one of the scariest parts of our jobs.
I
Because
don't. That's the part I don't like. I just wish there's someone that can do the negotiation and tell me, "Oh, Steph, this is what we're going to say. Okay, let's just voice it." Yeah,
yeah. So that, I mean, because most of us are majorly creatives, so we're
yeah,
very really designed to do all of that, but then we're learning it. For you,
yeah,
who started in 2019 and you're already getting big offers from big brands and all, how did you quickly learn to handle clients? How did you learn the terminologies and the rules guiding what type of job you should do, how to charge for
yeah,
and we're in an industry in Nigeria where our rates are not really solid yet. So
yeah.
how do you set a standard for yourself and communicate that to your clients effectively and still maintain a good relationship with them?
Okay, so when I started dealing with clients, that money part, yeah. I don't like hearing that part. I just wish that someone could just step in from nowhere and say, "I'm here to talk money on her behalf," and I'll just sit at the back, because I just didn't like that part. It makes
Hmm.
me anxious. So when I started, I'd usually ask the client, "Oh, what's your budget?" If they
Hmm.
mention something I feel is too low, I'll probably just add like 5K on top, because I mean, as a professional then, I was still learning my craft. So it would be
Hmm.
outrageous to charge them something way above your level of expertise. So I just kept it at that. So I started like putting one and two together, seeing the range, how do I put it now? All they had to offer fell into a particular price bracket, right? So
Hmm.
as a
Yeah.
starting, maybe throughout 2019, 2020, I went along with that um price
Price.
that most of the clients offered. So I
Yeah.
just took that, what they were offering, and I was charging other people like that. But
Hmm.
as time went on, I improved my craft. I developed myself. So right now, and of course, that is why I was saying something in this industry of ours. You cannot
Yeah.
be an island. You cannot
Hmm.
be an island, because you will just stay there. The industry will leave you and go, and
Yeah.
you just be there waiting. Even if you think like you are a legend, we learn every day. But people are like one of our greatest assets. People are assets. You
Hmm.
need people, because we all have different ideas, knowledge, and areas of expertise that we can all put our heads together and then give ourselves opinions and all of that. So I do have voiceover friends that, if there's something I don't really understand, like the pricing thing, I can call and be like, "How do you do yours?" Even if you won't tell me exactly what you charge, but give
Hmm.
me an idea on how um,
Go about it.
go about it and all of that. So right now, what I did, I just put one and two together, and I asked
Hmm.
myself, because this voiceover thing is like a major source of income for me. I am in it
Hmm.
like full time. So,
Yeah.
and I've invested a lot into it as well.
Yeah.
And when I listen to my voiceovers, let me just confess to you,
Hmm.
sometimes when I listen to my voice, I'm like, "Darling, who are you? Could you marry me?" Because, like, do you get, like, I know my voice is good. It is good. So when I'm charging a client, first of all, I do my background checks, like, okay, who is the client?
Hmm.
Um, what's their followership like? How long have they
Hmm.
been in the industry or in the market? So before, my price wasn't really stable. It was up, and if you look like someone, if you are from, for example, if you're from, a very popular bank, or if it's a popular bank that is asking, if I charge this client 10K, I will not charge you 10K. No, you
Hmm.
have the money. So that was
Hmm.
how it was then, right? But now I just I had to come with a rate card. So I have my voiceover rate card. So on that rate card, I have standard fixed rates. So I charge, some people charge per word, some people charge per duration. So I charge per duration for the time being. So on my rate card, I have okay, for 30 seconds to 1 minute, animation, voiceovers, documentary, audiobooks, narration, whatever, there's a fixed price for that. And then there are terms and conditions as well. So that makes it a lot more easier, organized, and professional. So when a client
Yeah.
messages me, oh, Steph, I want a voiceover done. Of course, I ask all the necessary questions. Sometimes they request for the rate card for future use. So I just send them the rate card. Everything you need is there. Yeah, but I really
Mm.
can't tell. A lot of people have been asking me this question, how do I charge? They are a lot in my DMs. I try to reply as many as I can, but I just tell them use your discretion. Don't
Mm.
overcharge a client when you know that you have not perfected your voiceover um
Mm.
art. Do
That's a
not
good advice.
undercharge a client. Yeah. Do not undercharge a client when you know what you're bringing to the table. At the same
Mm.
time, let it not be too high, let it not be too low. Because
Mm.
there's a kind of don't go and charge them the one that will be low to look like an insult to yourself and to the gift that
Yeah.
God has given you. So I just tell
Yeah.
them to use their discretion. I can't tell you what to charge a client. I really can't. So what I charge
Mm.
my clients, some people may think it's too high. Some people may think,
Mm.
but the funny thing is they pay. When you know what you offer, when you know that you have perfected this craft and people are coming to ask, you to give them that service, there's a certain confidence that you have when you are charging them because you know what they're getting. So I tell them when you've worked on yourself and you've perfected your thing, to get to a point where you can actually charge a certain amount and people will be willing to pay for it. But just be sure that you are confident that what you are charging them for is worth every dime that they're going to pay you for. And
Mm.
another thing is don't overcharge so you don't chase a client away. So what I
Mm.
usually do is okay, no, I'll not say this one before. I think I'll just keep this one to myself.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. I mean, this all what you just said in answering this question should be
Yeah.
framed, should be made a quote and framed. Yeah. So I want to ask you, a lot of people will be so willing. And by the way, for the record, I have to put this on record. Like Steph also has been able to show us, myself and a lot of voice actors that I've spoken with, a lot of us aren't so interested. Okay, we're interested, but we're not really designed for the negotiation part of voiceovers, but we're learning and we're trying in our own way. We need more business people, business
Yeah.
oriented people, people gifted in that, in the money um sector, if there's anything like that, that can come in and help us make a proper merchandise of this. And I'm talking in respect to having private companies that will set out as voice agents or voiceover
Yeah.
agents, look out for voice actors, because there are a lot of voice actors just trying to find their way on their own. Even getting training is not enough for a couple of them. Like we
Yeah.
have in the music industry, we have record labels that are managing um music artists. So the music artists,
Yeah.
they then focus on the craft themselves, while the record label
Yeah.
handles the business side
The
of it,
business
right?
aspect. Yeah.
So yeah, of course, you don't necessarily need to belong to any of these labels or agencies, but if we had agencies, I'm sure it'll help a couple of voice actors, just do what they know how to do best. So if you can get that going, you can jump in and learn the ropes in the industry. This is a thing already in
Mhm.
the international climb. It's just that Nigeria is still trying to catch up with it. All
Yeah.
right. So having said all of this, a lot of people who are your fans, I know you have a lot of fans. Like you're probably one of the most popular, and I say that because where I live, I get to meet people who meet me, and because I'm a voice actor, they meet me and they're
Yeah.
excited meeting me and respect and all of that. And then of all the people that they know in this industry, you're always on their lips. I'm just
Aw.
like random. Someone is saying, but you don't know how far that has gone, right? Now you have a lot
Aw.
of fans that really wish to be able to do things that you're doing, and
Yeah.
one of the questions I know they'll be begging to know is, how do you do it? Do you have a routine? Do you have a practice session that you do? What are the ingredients that you put together to deliver that sweet sounding voiceover? So you mind sharing one or two things with us?
Okay, you know how the popular saying goes, practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
I cannot promise anyone. I do, in fact, frankly, I do receive lots of messages from different people, and it's just very inspiring. Like, I had no idea, like what you said. I had no idea, like, there are people that really look up to me. Youth, I'd wake up to long messages in my DM, and someone is just telling me how inspired they are just watching my videos and everything. But at the same time, when people come to me to ask, oh, Steph, how do I perfect this? And the truth is, I started practicing when I was in secondary school, right? I was intentional about it. So it's not like I woke up one day and it just landed on me and I decided to show the world Pepe. No, it's not like that. Sometimes perfect things take time, but you have to be intentional about mastering your craft. So the earlier you start, the better for you. Right. So what I do, other than I do have talking sessions. I think I've said this a couple of times. I do have talking sessions where I look myself in the mirror and I'm speaking words to myself. I talk to my voice. This is a secret I've not shared with a lot of people, but I talk to my voice, and not just talking to my voice, I put in the work. So what do? I go on a search for other people, especially Nigerian voice talents. Why? Because there's not a lot of them that are noticeable right now. So what I do, I want to know what other people who have the same gift I have. I want to know what they are doing about it. I want to see what they are uploading on their social media. I want to know if they are doing something that I'm not doing and I need to start doing. Because if I'm looking for international voice talents, there are many that they are everywhere. But I want to bring it home. I want to see what those in my country are doing. So I find people like you, people like Femi Biggs, people like Sarah Johnson, people like Stephanie, the vocal expressionist. When I found these people, I'm like, wow, so I'm not alone in this industry. And then I go through their Instagram and I'm hearing beautiful voices. I'm like, wow, this is so beautiful. It just makes me so excited. You don't know how excited it makes me to see that Nigerian voice artists and voice actors, Nigerian voice talent, they are there. And these people are doing a lot with their craft. They are creating a space for themselves, like in this industry. And it makes me so, so proud to be one of them. So I decided, I said, okay, if these people are doing this, I can do better. There is always a better to be done. You know, I always say it that way. No one has done the best. The best can also be overdone. So you have the best, you have the best.
There's always going to be records to be broken, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So what I tell them is keep rehearsing. Sometimes I send them links to YouTube videos that I watched years ago that helped me. And sometimes I give them movie recommendations. Like for the British accent, it was Harry Potter and Sherlock Holmes. So I don't always advise them to watch Harry Potter, but I give them Sherlock Holmes to watch. I tell them, okay, watch Sherlock Holmes, practice every day. I tell them, go and buy a collar mic. There's a collar mic I use, a Boya mic. Buy it. If you can't get it, your phone has a recorder. Record your voice. If you hear an advert on radio or if you watch an advert on TV, let me tell you how serious it is. I can buy a bottle of water, T-code, and of course they have things written on it. And I've heard these kind of things on radio. I'm in maybe Uber or something, and I'm hearing let me just use a name that I made up. Good water, amazing for your soul, something like that. And I buy a bottle of water. I'm in traffic, and I buy a bottle of water.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the bottle of water, and the name of the water is Star Trek. I'm like, that guy that said good words on the radio, why can't I sound like him?
Yeah.
So the Uber driver will just be hearing me say, Star Trek, premium table water, something like that. And then I'll do it over and over in different tones because I want to know that it is not one tone that Stephanie can do. So I try to achieve what that person on radio did and do it better than him. I can buy a snack, gala cheese balls. I'm reading what is on the package or on the pack.
Yeah.
This is something I do. It's not something I used to do. It's something I do till today. T-Code, you can upload something. You can let me just confess to you. Even while you were you hosted the APVA awards, you did the voiceovers and everything. Yeah. So even when I'm like, this T-Code has a nice voice, so come on. And then he will now be like, and now the nominees for Voiceover Artist of the Year. I'm serious. What I just did, I just reduced my volume a little bit, and I'm because the words are popping up on the screen. So I'll reduce your voice first, temporarily, and then I'll go, and now the Voiceover Artist of the Year. Definitely. And then I will say it over and over again. And then if you say something different, now special thanks to our sponsors and partners. I'll reduce your voice again and do my own. Like, it is just there. When you have passion for something, when you have passion for something, you will just find yourself finding new ways to do that thing or to discover new ways to better do what you're already good at. So there's no magic to it, honestly. In this voiceover thing, you have to practice. When you stop practicing, you will just wake up one morning and discover that something has happened to your voice. That fire is not there anymore. Honestly, I am telling you.
I agree, Steph. This British American accent and all that you do so well right now, I used to do them very well growing up while I was in secondary school as well. I used to but I remember going through university days and people usually perceive me as like, why do you talk so well like this? Like, so I was doing a lot of I was doing less of the expressive things, especially all of those accent kind of thing, because I didn't want to look proud. Well, that's on me anyway. And over time, just to buttress what you said, over time, coming back to it was a struggle. It's not like I can't do it, but it's not as fluent as it used to come to me. So if you stop practicing, you'll start to struggle with it with time. So you need to continue doing it. I think if there's a let me put it this way, because almost all the things that you just said now, I can relate 100%. I'm also that type of person that, in fact, I don't even need to buy anything. I read everything that is written. Like, I don't want to know where. If it's a nylon, I would read it. Because for me, in fact, everything, if I open my computer and, maybe I'm using an HP computer and I would read HP. And I'm not just going to say HP. Like, you have to understand the thoughts process behind that design itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Font, if you see a design, there's a font that carries the design. The font itself passes a message. It could be something fluffy. It could be something, grand. It could be something classy. It could be something nerdy.
Yeah, something rough. Yeah.
Because voiceovers is much more beyond just words. You have to understand the thought process that surrounds and the communication, what that logo, that
the
brand,
story is trying to tell as well.
Do you understand? So I'm like going to voice almost everything. Like, I have a bottle in front of me right now, and it's the voiceover conference that is written on it. And I'm not just going to say the voiceover. So I'm going to say something like the voiceover conference. Focus right. You just have to so
what
the point
voice.
is that, come on. That's definitely for you. But I'm just trying to say, if there is a way you identify voice actors around you, if you sit down with a voice actor and you're in traffic, the voice actor is probably going to read adverts on
Yeah, what they
billboards
see
and
on the
everything.
billboards, exactly. Yeah,
So
happens
to
all the
corroborate
time.
what you said, yeah, all the time. If you want to be a better voice actor as well, if you're upcoming, develop that habit. For me, if I am seeing a movie, from the beginning, 24th Century Fox, I'll be the announcer voice. I'll be saying all of the Paramount pictures. I'll be
Yeah,
saying
Lion
everything.
Gates.
Yeah. So that's just a tip for voice actors or upcoming voice actors or aspiring voice actors. Interesting. We've had a great conversation so far. Let's talk about the award itself because you're
Yay.
you just did something unprecedented. First of all, it's the first of its kind voice actor of the year in the continent Africa, and
Oh,
here comes Stephanie Anene, who is almost just 3 years in the game, but she was able to bag this award. You told us in the beginning of
yeah.
this interview how you felt about it.
Yeah.
Um, I know there is more to say, so I'd let you express yourself more about what this has done for you in the past few days of winning the award and what you think
Wow.
will follow in the coming months and years.
Hmm. First of all, I'd like to use this opportunity to thank my man of God. Don't mind me. There's something we say in my church. Every time you're given
Mm.
an opportunity, you have to thank the man of God. So
Okay.
anyway, the APVA awards.
Hmm.
Hmm. This means a lot to me. I don't think people understand why I'm so excited about it because see the most touching thing about it to me is the fact that I was even thought of to be nominated
Mm.
alongside
Yeah.
people that have been doing this thing. Like that was enough. That should have been enough for me. But like I told you, if someone has done the best, then I can do the best part of it. So being nominated, and it was not just people in Nigeria, other countries, or people from different countries, in Africa as well. It is a
Yeah.
huge step for me just to
Mm.
be recognized. It shows you that people are listening, people are watching,
Yeah.
people are seeing what I'm doing. It's
Mm.
way beyond the number of followers I have on social media. Just to know that people in my own industry, they recognize what I'm doing, and they just give me that recognition. It means a lot to me. I was not see, I'll be honest with you. My faith, I'm a woman of faith. I have
Mm.
active faith. I gotta be honest with you, but when you are now doing and now the winner, the voice over artist of the year. I almost closed my eyes and my ears because I saw some names. There are some powerful names, in that same category. I was like, how is
Yeah.
this going to be possible? I had already given up. I was like, no, no, no. I'll say, no, this person will win it. I'll tell my friend, watch now, they'll call his name, And I had Stephanie and Anene. I said, anyway, I screamed. In fact, I screamed. I screamed so much. I was like, what? I'm sure my neighbors would have thought like, did they propose to this one or something? But I was so excited. Like, I don't know how I would explain this. This means a lot to me. This is the first time I'd be recognized, as a professional voiceover artist since I started doing voiceovers. Of course, there's been comments here and there, and encouragements and words, but this one is like I need to create a shelf for it in my head because this is the beginning of bigger achievements for me. And then it gives me that bragging right, like, do you know who you're talking to, sis? Like, you don't know me. So it gives me that bragging right, and it takes my career as a voiceover artist to another level. Because when people come to my profile and they see, winner, voice artist of the year APVA awards 2022, it just gives them this naturally, if they were going to ask you a lot of questions, there's this
Respect.
respect. Yes, it gives, like, it just adds this respect. You know how they say put some respect on my name. So it just
Yeah.
that our word just puts it there for me, and I'm really so excited. I'm really, really so excited. It means a lot to me. I don't want to say too much because once I
Oh,
start, yeah, it
okay.
means a
Okay.
lot to me.
Um, Shout out to our judges at APVA as well, and everyone who voted. They did a lot. I mean, I was observing the whole thing from a distance. I saw how people were rooting for you. They
Aw.
created WhatsApp groups for you. I
Yeah.
mean, geez. I mean,
See,
you
I
have the
was
following.
shocked. Like, I didn't know. It's one thing to for people to tell you, word of mouth, oh, we're here for you, inspire us and everything. Once I announced the voting thing, my
Mm,
DM was on fire. Like, different
mm,
people, even fellow voiceover artists were like, send me the link. I come online on
wow.
WhatsApp. I was added into another WhatsApp group. I'm like, and then the name of the group was, bringing this home for Stephanie. I was like, oh my God,
Wow.
everybody on
Wow.
Instagram. I was receiving calls, WhatsApp statuses would on a daily, and everything. I had no idea. I knew I had people, that admired what I did, but this really showed me that when people like something, they really put in a
Mm,
lot to to take that thing to another level, and that's what they did for me. So my Instagram followers are amazing. I have to brag about it at this point. They
how
are
many are you
super
now?
super amazing. Voice of Steph just hit 16,400 today.
Oof.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, they are
I
amazing.
remember when it was
And
8. Okay, go on. Go on.
yeah, so and something else I'm really excited about, the APVA awards. It's like I said, we have a lot of voice talents in Nigeria, just that most of them are not yet they are not yet discovered. Maybe
Mm,
because there's something they're not doing right, but they are there, And
yeah.
this APVA award, it gave voice talents, rising voice talents, those that are there, those that are still trying to make a mark for themselves. It gave them that platform. This is a platform that APVA gave them to show them to the world. I was just so excited. I saw new names that I've not seen before,
Yeah.
and I was like really excited. These are young people as well. And I was just so happy, I almost cried. It was just so amazing. These are the things I like seeing.
Mm,
These are things I like seeing because when it's like I don't even know how to describe it, but it just makes me happy seeing new names. And of course, when someone's name is called and I'm like, oh, I don't know this
mm,
person, I go on Instagram, I check. Sometimes I
mm.
even find out that this person was already following me since. I say, oh God, I did not know, I'm not following you back. I'm like, oh, congratulations on your award. And then we follow each
Oh,
other and,
yeah.
encourage each other. Oh, Steph, congrats on your award. I say, oh, you're the guy that won, this particular award for this category. Congratulations. And these are people from different countries, you see.
Yeah.
So it also
Yeah.
gave us that opportunity to interact and socialize and get to know one another, even though we are like maybe thousands of miles apart. So now I
Mm,
know some names of voiceover artists in Kenya, names of voiceover artists in South Africa, because APVA gave us that platform. You see, so that
mm,
is how amazing it is, and that is how important this platform is that APVA is giving voice artists in Africa. It is very
mm.
amazing. And I look
Wow.
forward to bigger things. I'm just so excited about it, honestly.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. Again, APVA, that's the Association of African Podcast and Voice Actors. We couldn't have pulled off that award event without our sponsors, our partners, our team members, and our judges, and every other person who contributed, even the nominees themselves, because you guys drove the publicity in terms of requesting for votes. And we had
Yeah.
over 2,000 nominees Uh,
Wow.
I mean, yeah, and then the nominees were selected to about around 40 plus uh,
Wow.
categories. So, and we had over 70,000 votes in less than a month.
Wow.
Over 70,000. That was staggering. The numbers kept
Wow.
spiking every day we checked. Our websites, our social media handles, everything was just increasing. So, and if you obviously with your numbers, your people were pressing the buttons and voting, of course, that added a whole lot, to the numbers. So I also want to
Yeah.
especially thank our judges. We had Shegun Arinze, who was a veteran Hollywood actor and the president of the Association of Voice Actors of Nigeria, AVOA. We had Remi Olutumai. Remy is a voice actor and also West Africa's first voice over director. We had Jennifer Canary, who is the a voice actor as well for over 2 decades, I think. And she is the founder of the Voice over League of Kenya, or Voice Acting League of Kenya, beg your pardon. That's VALC. And we had Emeka Onunkwo, who is a voice director. Oh, yeah, a creative director rather, and the founder of Nigeria's first voice casting site, which is Nigeria Voiceover Bank. He's also the convener of Voice Acting Africa, which is a yearly conference, a voiceover conference in the continent. It's really doing great. So Emeka Ononko, shout outs to you. And one of Africa's, prolific casting directors. So these caliber of judges, they did justice to their word, and we
Yeah.
cannot wait um to have our winners, just keep shining, and even next year we spotlight more talents and keep winning as an industry and as a continent. So Steph, it's been a pleasure having you here on my podcast. I've taken your time, but it was worth
Fine.
it. It was really worth it. Is there any other thing you'd like to? I mean, I have a lot of questions, but maybe we'll talk another time. If there are words, you've said a lot actually for new upcoming voice talent. So I wouldn't say there, but then you may just have a message to pass across. So let me give you once again that opportunity to say one or two things to upcoming and voice actors out there, or just to the world in general.
Well, what I have to say to if you if you have a passion for voicing and you are certain this is something, a journey you want to embark on, the only thing I would tell you is to keep practicing, keep
Mm,
asking questions, keep improving on yourself, and there's enough space. There's enough room in the sky for everyone. Don't say, oh, because this particular person has done this, maybe I've come late. It's never too late, so long as you are intentional about what you're doing. Be intentional about your developments. Be intentional about upgrading your gift, and always have a global mindset. Nigeria is too small. Trust me, Nigeria is not too big for you. It is too small for you. So think
mm,
Nigeria, think Africa, think the whole world. That is that is my mindset. It's my mindset is not Nigeria. My mindset is Africa and beyond. So if I can think African, then you can think the whole world. And don't say because you don't have certain equipment or things. Start from where you are. If you have a phone that can record, start from there. If you have friends and families, start from somewhere. And you mustn't be paid. You mustn't receive payments for your first voiceover job. I started with doing free jobs and I received
mm,
a pat on my back, and God bless you was what I was used to hearing.
mm.
But look at me today. Like the Bible says, never and don't forget the days of your humble beginning. There's a day of humble beginning for everybody. So wherever,
Yeah,
whatever phase of that humble beginning you're in, embrace it, because tomorrow you will have a story to tell, just like I do. And of course, I'm only getting started. And if, like I always say, if Stephanie and Anene could do it, then you could do it as well. Thank you.
amazing. Great. For those who want to reach out to you probably have a job for you, how can they do that?
Oh, of course, you can reach me on my social media on Instagram, to be precise, at
Okay.
Voice of Steph. My contact details are there. Email address is there as well. My DM is always open, to
Mm.
receive messages as well.
All right. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Stephanie also has a YouTube channel where she talks about voiceovers, so you can check that out as well. Voice of
Yeah,
What's the name of the YouTube channel, just to be clear?
Stephanie Anene. That's Stephanie Anene. There's a link to my YouTube channel on my Instagram as well. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Ladies and gentlemen, you just heard it from the first winner of the Voiceover Artist of the Year category at the APVA Awards
Yay.
2022. It's a pleasure having you today, and I hope that we have another time to discuss voiceovers on this platform. All right, Stephanie.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And to everyone listening, thank you for listening. And like I would always say, even with a different twist in every episode, keep voicing and keep winning. Yes, keep winning. Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe, leave a comment, and tell someone about it. Follow the podcast on Everything VOs on all social media platforms. Thanks for listening and see you on the next episode. This podcast is a Coded Voiceovers production.